I just started doing total custom stuff to cars, and I got tired of him, so I was at an auto parts place, and I kept going to this place to buy stuff. And there was a shop out back, and I'd look at stuff I did to my truck, and I'd open up a magazine, and this guy had done the same thing in the magazine. I kind of got mad, so I went back there. I was like, what are you... So we got to arguing. Finally, he looks across the shop. He says, you know, the shop's big enough for both of us. Why don't we just start it, you know, why don't you move in, do your thing, I'll do my thing, and, you know, we won't have to have these arguments. Like, I was kind of like blown away. I thought about it like, well, hell, I want to do custom stuff. So that was like a 10-year deal. We were hanging out, building cars. Every trucking magazine, mini trucking magazine, had a how-to article. I mean, every magazine had a how-to article in the trucks that we built.
Were you always called Downtown Willy?
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
From
I got that name from Ed Roth when I worked with him.
Why did he call you Downtown Willy?
He just had to give me a name. That was it. That was it, you know, it stuck. You know, we were in the back room. He was like doing signs for a truck or something, and he goes, oh, you need a better name than that. I was like, okay, whatever. And he finally came up with that. I was like, all right, I'll live with that.
So if you're in the chat room, you're probably wondering, why are we talking all about cars and stuff? Because this is going to segue us into, in the next segment, we're going to be talking about the Bondage Furniture and showing some of the furniture that he makes, and they're awesome. And I guess learning how to, okay, I do things half-assed, okay, as you know, we're not going to look at the furniture here that I covered with material, so I do everything half-assed, but the thing is that it's really hard to sew leather. It's not an easy thing to sew.
No, it isn't. I mean, if you're going to do it professionally, you got to go learn about leather itself. It's all tan different. There's different thicknesses. And they all act different. I mean, some leathers, it'll stretch one direction, not the other. Some won't stretch at all. If you have to make something that stretches, then you gotta get what they call a skiving knife, and you have to sit there and cut the backing off of it and thin it out. So I mean, there's a lot to it.
So you've got to cut the backing out before you can stretch it?
Yeah, even when you sew, like, you know, like you got the edging on the edge of a upholstery, like the beading.
Yeah.
If you want to use real leather, you have to use this thing called a skiving machine, and you cut these 1-inch strips, and you put it in there, and it peels it like an apple peeler. It splits it in half, so it's like paper thin. Otherwise, even where you put the stitches, like in a Ferrari, you have to scrape with that skiving knife. Otherwise, you got 4 or 5 pieces of leather coming together, and if you don't do that, it's like 1 inch thick.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, the machine won't even stitch through it. So I mean, it's a pain in the butt. Leather work is an art in itself. I mean, it's really hard.
Do you have your favorite type of leather that you like to use?
On cars, it's Connolly. It's English leather. It's the one that has the real smell to it. You know, it really smells like leather. Most new leathers don't have that smell, and that's really kind of their trademarks. Like when you open a Jaguar or something like that, or a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, you get that really nice leather aroma.
So it's a car that if a submissive sits in it, she'll come every time she sits down in it, correct?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, it's like, I'll be working, I'll be like okay, just keep smelling. I mean, it's
like, oh, Daddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're in the chat room, they're talking about, smell of leather, leather, dang, leather, sniff the floggers. You know, I mean, these are people that love leather. But they're talking all about Downtown Willy's work is fucking awesome. No matter what he does, I'm a Downtown Willy addict. I mean, these are what people are talking about. Yeah, that was from Leonora, man. So, we just love, and we're also going to show some pieces that you made for Leonora, man.
Wow.
Yeah, we've got some photographs that I'm so excited, but I'm going to keep the photographs for the next segment. So you went from cars.
Yeah.
And how did you start doing bondage equipment?
I kind of did bondage equipment along the way. I just kind of kept it on the down low, sort of. I mean, I had people that, you know, I'd always make weird, funky, crazy stuff, and somehow I guess I'm like flypaper for freaks, and they just come knocking on the door. It's like, hey, can you do this? And they're like, oh, don't show it. So I mean, my shop, I pretty much work from like 10 o'clock to 2 at night every day of my life. So I mean, people would feel safe coming in at like after hours to look at what I was doing for them.
So you're a night person.
Yeah, pretty much. But the bondage furniture probably started like in '84, somewhere in there.
After you
I made
all
my
those
first
floggers.
bondage bed. Yeah, I just, like I said, until a certain point, I really never really seen. You know, I didn't know what I was doing was bondage and S&M related. So I just figured that was just normal sex.
Yeah.
You know, there was no top, bottom, whatever, but, you know, back then it was just having fun, having sex, and that was the fun.
But what's amazing is that your bondage equipment, I mean, it's to drool for, it's to fantasize about, it's to masturbate over, it's to go, you know, it basically is some of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, because you also, the ironwork that's with it also.
Yeah. I just kind of like, I've learned all these different trades, so now I'm not really stuck at the mercy of anybody. You know, like if I come up with a design, I can pretty much make anything I can think of or anybody else can think of, because I know how to work with wood, I know how to work with metal, steel, pretty much anything else you'd make furniture out of. So it's pretty much endless. I just have to come up with a concept and then sit down, figure out a pattern, and do it.
What is your house like?
It's pretty boring, actually. I mean, it's gonna be nice when I get a little bit of time, but it's more or less. I've got like a townhouse. It's kind of like a loft style house. Got a real high ceiling. I'm keeping it more. Actually, as a designer, I kind of go with the flow of what the house is. It isn't more or less. I kind of like this, but it's more like a retro '60s kind of stuff.
We have a question in the chat room.
Oh, in the chat room?
Yes, and what is the question?
Mr. Topaz wants to know if you have designs that are collapsible so she can put them away and then bring them back out and play.
Oh, sure I do. I have a collapsible spanking bench. It's not on my photos there, but if you email me at DownTownWilly.com, I'll try to send you some pictures. I have some new furniture that's like, I'm making ottomans that have a slip cover. The slip cover comes off, and then it has a top for a spanking bench that goes on top of it and has restraint points around the side. So I've got all kinds of stuff that you can hide away.
And wait till you see
Dungeon in a
Dungeon
box.
in a box.
That will hide all your. That's the ultimate. So
I am just so I'm so excited about what we're going to do. Is we are going to take a break, and we're going to be back, and we're going to come back and we're going to show some fabulous photographs. I've been waiting for this segment to get them all out, and we've got lots of photographs to go through. So if you're in the chat room, and if you want to call us when we come back, call us at 323-568-1660. But call us when we come back, and we'll be right back. You've been watching the Rev Mel Show on TSRnetwork.com with my wonderful guest, Downtown Willy.